Welcome to the CompTIA A+ Prepcast presented by baremetalcyber.com. Connectors and adapters are essential parts of every modern computer system. They provide the physical link between devices, allowing signals to travel between computers, peripherals, displays, power sources, and networks. Connectors are built into cables and ports and define how two components are attached and what type of signal they carry. Adapters allow one connector type to interface with another. This is especially useful in mixed environments where new hardware must work alongside legacy equipment. On the exam, candidates must be able to recognize each connector type, understand what it connects, and identify when an adapter is required for compatibility. The RJ45 connector is the standard interface for Ethernet networking. It is an 8-position, 8-contact connector used with twisted pair cabling, such as Category 5, Category 6, and Category 6A cables. These connectors are crimped onto the ends of Ethernet cables and plug into network interface cards, switches, routers, and wall jacks. RJ45 connectors are rectangular and larger than telephone connectors. They carry digital data signals for fast Ethernet, gigabit Ethernet, and even 10 gigabit Ethernet over twisted pair copper media. They are found in nearly every wired network installation. It is important to distinguish between RJ45 and RJ11 connectors. The RJ11 connector is a smaller plug used for analog phone lines. It typically has 4 or 6 pins and fits into telephone wall jacks, fax machines, or modems. While the RJ11 plug physically fits into an RJ45 jack, doing so can damage the contacts inside the Ethernet port. The reverse is not true, as an RJ45 plug is too large to fit into an RJ11 port. Understanding this difference prevents physical damage to ports and ensures the correct cable is used in each situation. Universal Serial Bus, or USB, is the most common connector standard for input and output devices. There are several versions and connector types, each with its own shape and capabilities. USB-A is the familiar flat rectangular connector found on computers, keyboards, and flash drives. USB-B is square and is used for connecting printers and scanners. Mini USB and micro USB are smaller versions used on older mobile devices and cameras. The latest connector type, USB-C, is reversible and supports both data and power transfer. Technicians must recognize all USB connector types and know their typical uses. USB-C is a compact oval-shaped connector that works in any orientation. It supports power delivery up to 100 watts, which is enough to charge laptops and high-capacity tablets. USB-C can also carry video signals using standards such as DisplayPort Alternate Mode. This allows a single cable to handle charging, data transfer, and external display output simultaneously. USB-C is now commonly found on smartphones, modern laptops, and docking stations. The versatility of this connector means technicians must understand its capabilities and limitations depending on the device and cable used. The Molex connector is a legacy power connector that was once standard in desktop computer builds. It has a large plastic housing with 4 pins and provides both 12-volt and 5-volt direct current power. It was commonly used to power hard disk drives, optical drives, and case fans. Molex connectors are not keyed in a way that prevents incorrect insertion, so care must be taken to ensure the correct orientation. While Molex has mostly been replaced by more modern connectors such as SATA power, it still appears in older systems and may be used for accessories or case lighting. SATA connectors have largely replaced Molex for internal drive connections. A SATA power connector has 15 pins and is longer and thinner than Molex. It provides multiple voltages, including 3.3 volts, 5 volts, and 12 volts. The SATA data connector has 7 pins and connects the drive to the motherboard. SATA power and data connectors are keyed and designed to fit only one way. They are easier to manage than Molex, take up less space, and improve airflow inside the computer case. These advantages make SATA the standard for most internal storage devices. VGA, which stands for Video Graphics Array, is an older analog video connector. It uses a 15-pin D-sub connector that is typically colored blue. VGA connectors are trapezoidal in shape and screw into place on both ends. They were once standard for connecting desktop computers to CRT monitors and early flat panels. VGA transmits analog video signals which are subject to degradation and interference, especially over longer cable runs. Although mostly replaced by digital standards, VGA ports are still found on some legacy projectors and monitors. DVI, or Digital Visual Interface, is a video connector that supports digital, analog, or both types of signals depending on the configuration. DVI-D connectors transmit digital signals only. DVI-A handles analog signals, and DVI-I supports both. DVI connectors are wider than VGA and include multiple pins arranged in a flat block with an additional blade for orientation. DVI was commonly used during the transition from analog to digital displays. It remains relevant for older monitors and graphics cards that do not include newer video outputs. HDMI and DisplayPort are modern digital video standards that support both high-definition video and multi-channel audio. HDMI is widely used in consumer electronics including televisions, gaming consoles, and home theater systems. It supports audio return channel, Ethernet over HDMI, and various high-resolution formats. DisplayPort, on the other hand, is more common in professional computing environments. It supports higher refresh rates, daisy chaining of monitors, and locking connectors. While both standards support adapters, their capabilities differ, and technicians must know which features are available on each connector. PS/2 connectors were once standard for keyboards and mice on desktop systems. These connectors are round with 6 pins and are color-coded -purple for keyboards and green for mice. Though they have largely been replaced by USB in modern systems, PS/2 ports can still be found on legacy computers, point-of-sale systems, and industrial control units. Because they use separate ports for each device, they are less flexible than USB. However, they remain testable on the exam, and technicians may need to recognize them in older setups. 3.5mm audio connectors are widely used for analog sound. These small, cylindrical jacks carry stereo or mono audio signals and are found on speakers, headphones, microphones, and sound cards. A variant known as TRRS short for tip ring sleeve adds an extra contact to support both microphone and stereo audio in one plug. This format is common on smartphones and laptops. Technicians must identify these connectors and understand their limitations compared to digital alternatives like USB audio or Bluetooth headsets. Thunderbolt is a high-speed interface developed to combine power, data, and video in one connection. Thunderbolt version 3 and version 4 both use the USB-C connector type. These ports support fast data transfer, high-resolution video output, and power delivery at the same time. Thunderbolt cables and ports are typically labeled with a lightning bolt icon. Thunderbolt ports are commonly found on high-end laptops, docking stations, and external drive enclosures. On the exam, it is important to distinguish Thunderbolt over USB-C from standard USB-C based on capabilities. Fiber optic connectors allow the transmission of light-based data over optical cables. The SC connector is a square-shaped push-pull type that is easy to use and commonly found in patch panels. The LC connector is a small form factor design with a latch mechanism, often used in high-density networking environments. The ST connector features a bayonet-style twist lock and is frequently found in legacy fiber installations. Technicians should be able to match these connectors to their appearance and typical use cases in enterprise and telecom environments. BNC connectors are used with coaxial cables, especially in older video and network applications. These connectors use a bayonet-style locking mechanism to ensure a secure connection. BNC connectors were once common in early Ethernet networks and are still used in closed-circuit television systems and analog video transmission. Though they are largely replaced by digital and twisted pair standards, BNC connectors still appear in legacy systems and may be referenced on the certification exam in identification or use case questions. ESATA stands for External Serial Advanced Technology Attachment. It was designed to bring SATA speed and functionality to external storage devices. ESATA uses a shielded cable and a slightly different connector shape to maintain signal integrity outside the computer case. Though it offered faster transfer rates than USB 2.0 at the time, ESATA has largely been replaced by faster and more convenient USB 3.0 and USB-C-based external storage solutions. Recognition of ESATA may still be required for the exam. Adapters are essential in environments where new and legacy equipment must work together. For example, connecting an HDMI laptop to a VGA projector requires an active adapter that converts digital signals to analog. Passive adapters may work when both formats are electrically compatible, such as HDMI to D versus I. Other common adapter scenarios include converting USB-A to USB-C or DisplayPort to HDMI. Understanding the difference between passive and active adapters is necessary to choose the right solution. PCI Express slots allow for the addition of internal expansion cards such as network interface cards, graphics cards, and storage controllers. These slots come in different physical lengths, including X1, X4, X8, and X16. The number refers to how many lanes of data the slot supports. A graphics card typically uses an X16 slot for maximum bandwidth, while a network card may only require an X1 slot. It is important to match the card to the correct slot to ensure proper function and performance. Modular power supplies use individually detachable cables that connect from the power supply unit to each component. These cables are keyed to prevent incorrect insertion and provide power to devices such as graphics cards, storage drives, and the motherboard. Modular designs reduce clutter and improve airflow inside the case by allowing technicians to use only the cables they need. This makes troubleshooting and future upgrades more manageable and is preferred in high-performance or custom-built systems. For exam preparation, candidates should be able to identify a wide variety of connector types by name, shape, and function. This includes network connectors like RJ45, video standards like HDMI and DVI, audio connectors like TRRS, and data ports like USB-A and USB-C. Power connectors such as Molex, SATA power, and modular cables must also be recognized. Understanding the role of adapters, fiber optic connectors, and internal expansion interfaces prepares technicians to work with both legacy and modern hardware environments. Thank you for listening. Please visit baremetalcyber.com for more cybersecurity information, podcasts, books, and more.